Today I'm going to show you how to start making your own FPS games as a beginner using the FE Gunkit. So the first thing you're going to want to do is open up Roblox Studio and then click on a blank baseplate. I'll leave a link to this model in the description, but basically you gotta go to the toolbox, go to My Models, and search up the model in the description. It's called FE Gunkit. It should then pop up here. It's by this guy, Bluric _64. Click on it. It should give you all these assets. Up here in the Explorer tab, it should tell you where all of these things go. Everything in replicated storage. Just take that, drag it into replicated storage. Everything in server script service, drag it into server script service. Everything in starter GUI, drag into starter GUI, and so on. Once you have done all this, you can take the pistol, put it into the starter pack, and delete everything else, and press play. And you should already have the rig set. Going into first person, boom, you already have working gun. But this is just a simple rig, right? And it's not that cool because it's just one mesh and doesn't do anything. So today I'm going to be showing you how to get your own models, add them into FE Gunkit, and animate them yourself. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to get your gun model. You could have either created it yourself using like a software like Blender, or you can take a model from the toolbox, which is what I'm going to be using for this example. If you click on toolbox again and search for gun models, I already have a pack here. Click on this. It should give you a ton of gun models once they load in, and you can choose the gun model that you want. I'll just choose a pistol for now. Well, let's see. Here they are. Guess I'll choose the Desert Eagle. Once you have the model you want, just duplicate it, add it into workspace, and then you can delete everything else. Now you have your gun model. This is the gun that the player will be holding. What you will then want to go to, then what you're going to want to do is to go into replicated storage, on MISCs, view models, and find v_pistol. This will be the view model that you'll be using to create the, animations. So just duplicate this and drag it into workspace. You see here that this is the view model that we're going to be using, and what we're going to be doing is just replacing this gun right here with the Desert Eagle and then animating it. So we can get our model, drag it all the way here, and here's where you gotta start posing the gun. So once you have the gun, go into your view model and find the handle, which is this gun, and just delete the mesh. Now you just have the handle here. You then make the transparency 1 so that the player can't see it, and take your model and pose it for the character. Let's see. Once you have the pose that you want it to be in, then what you can do is rig it together. So in the model, you have all the different parts. What you're going to want to do is to rename the parts that you want to animate into what they are, and then later we'll be using a plugin called Rig Edit Lite, which we can then use to, rig the entire model with the view model so that we can animate it later on. Once you have your model ready, we can start rigging it. But first what we need to do is to create like a joint, which we can connect all the parts of the gun to. So we go to your view model, go to handle, you can duplicate it. This will be like the joint that we use to just connect all the parts to, so make it a bit smaller. In relevance to the gun size, and rename this joint, and then delete all components inside of it. Now we have the joint, we can connect every part inside our gun to the joint. So if we drag the gun into the view model, and then go into plugins and take rig edit light and then connect it all to the joint. So first thing you're going to want to do is select the joint. This little number over here should hover it, indicating that it is the part that we want to rig everything to. So we have the joints, and we want to connect every part inside the gun that we want to be animatable, that we can animate. So what do we want to animate? We want to animate the slide, right, to make it move. We want to animate the mag for like reloads and stuff. So we're going to connect the joint to the mag, the slide, the trigger in case we want to animate it, and we're going to click create joints. Now these parts are animatable, but we also want to make the rest of the gun go with the view model, right? Or else it's not really much of a gun. So we'll take the joint and connect it with all the other parts that make up the gun that we don't want to animate, and we create welds. And now we also want the gun to go with the player's hands, right? Or the arms. So we also want to connect that with the arms, create joints, make sure that any welds inside the arms you delete. And now what you want to do is connect the humanoid root part to the joint, because the humanoid root part is what allows this, I guess, view model to go with the player. And if you don't connect it to the joint, then it's not going to work. So if we connect the humanoid root part to the joint, create joints, then we have we create a motor 6D for the joint as well as for the fake camera, but that should already be there. And boom, technically speaking, this view model should work now. As long as, let's rename this, say, Deagle, and then rename the tool Deagle. This part is actually pretty important. They gotta be called the same thing, or else it won't work. So take it, put it back in the view models, press play, and theoretically it should work now. Boom, there you go. You can see that we have the Desert Eagle. It's in our arm, or it's in our hands, and it works fine, like before. Great, so now you got a working view model, but it's not much right now, right? There's no animations. When you shoot, it looks kind of bland. So I'm going to show you how to make animations for your view model. What I'm going to use is just the built-in Roblox animation editor, but you can use external stuff such as Blender or Moon Animator, stuff like that. But for the sake of this beginner's tutorial, we're just going to be using the Roblox animation editor. So we can take the view model out, put it back into workspace, and we can start animating it. Go to the animation editor and click on the view model. You can name this one whatever you want. I'll just make this fire animation, so I'll just call this fire animation Eagle. So now we have the animation editor up here. We can click add all so that we can animate every part of the rig. You can then add a keyframe here, which adds a keyframe for every object inside of the rig. And now we can just start animating. I forgot to mention, moving the joint will move all parts of the view model except for the humanoid root part, because we didn't rig it to the joint. And yeah. this is a pretty good animation just for this demonstration. If you put your time into it, you can make some really good stuff. So what we're going to do now is set its animation priority to action, and then we can export it. You can call it whatever you want, but you need to add a description in order for it to work. So I'll just call it fire, I guess, and then submit it. And you get the animation ID, which you can then copy, close, and inside your tool, the Deagle, there should be a module script called settings. If you click on it, you get all of these things that you can change. Stuff like you can add like different sounds. You can enable like walk speed reduction. You can enable a bullet hole, blood enabled, stuff like that. But what we're focused on right now is the fire animation, right? And you want to find the view model since that's what we animated. This top stuff, these animations are for the third person view, which you can animate later on, but for now we're just animating the view model. So if we go to the view model and find fire animation, this is where we can paste the animation ID for our fire animation. So if we delete this, and copy and paste the animation ID from before, and then join the game again, make sure to put the view model back inside the view models folder in the replicated storage, and then it should play the firing animation. Go into first person. Boom. You see that the animation now works, the slide moves back. Yeah, that's how you create an animation for the view model. Now I'm going to start making some extra animations to make it like a complete gun. We can also change the settings of the gun and maybe change the audio as well. So let's go into our view model, and now I'm going to create a reload animation. So click create new, Eagle reload. Click add all again. Add keyframe here. We can now create a reload animation. I'll just make a really quick one. Okay, so what I think I have right now is pretty good. Good enough for a demo, I guess. So what you want to do is don't loop it. Set its animation priority to action, and then export it. Same thing as the fire animation. Just call this reload. Get the animation ID. Go into the setting, and this time instead of pasting it in the fire animation ID, you guessed it, we gotta place it in the reload animation. So you put it here, put your animation ID there, and it should work for when you have no ammo. But just to be sure, go down to where it says tactical reload, make sure it's set to false. If it's set to true, then you have to make a separate animation for when it still has ammo inside the mag. Now we can paste the deagle back inside the view model, and we can test it out again. So now when we play the game, you see that when we shoot, animation still fires, and when we reload, the reload animation plays. It's not the best, it's kind of trash actually, but just for the demo, it works. And yeah, that's how you animate the view model. Now, in order for it to, I guess you could say, shoot in the way that like a gun should, you need to change the parts in which like bullets come out and stuff, right? So take your view model again, bring it back into workspace. In the handle, there should be some parts. There's gun fire point, gun muzzle point, shell ejection, stuff like this. But if you think about it, in a real gun, does the bullet come out of here? No. We need to move it to where the bullet does come out of. Same with the muzzle point. Take these two, you can move them to where the bullet will come out of, which is the barrel. Just move it to relatively around where the point is. And then same thing with the shell ejection. Move it to around where the slide moves back on the gun. Same thing with the smokes. Just move them to where smoke will come out of the gun normally. And yeah, that's how you, I guess, change the points of where the gun shoots. Also in the settings, you can change different things such as like how much damage it does, base, make it whether or not it's automatic. You can also change the UI of the gun if you want, but I'll just keep it there for now. Base damage, let's make this a bit higher. Ammo, we can make it like 8. Headshot multiplier, we can keep that. I think we can keep most of these. So now, when we play the game again, you can see that our magazine only has 8 shots instead of the previous 12. I don't have anyone to use the gun on, but if you were say to play this game against another person, the gun should now do 40 damage, and you can also do stuff like shooting the glass. Reload still works, and yeah. Okay, so the final 2 things I wanted to talk about before wrapping up this tutorial was how to make it so that you actually ADS properly, and also how to make the gun appear in third person. So what you're going to want to do is, again, take your view model out of replicated storage. In the view model, there should be a thing called aim point, or aim point. This is where the camera will, I guess, move to in order to aim, or aim down the sights. So what you're going to want to do is to move it to around where the gun's iron sights are. It might take some time to get it right, but you can just keep testing it until you get it around what it should be, and then yeah, it's how you ADS. The next thing I want to talk about is making the gun appear in third person, because as you can see right now, say we go into a game, yeah, the gun appears in first person, but when you're in third person, the gun still appears to be the same model as before, and we don't want that. So what you want to do is, well, for me to make it easier, what I like to do is, well, first you gotta publish the game, but what I like doing is making it so that the character is in R6. It just makes it easier to animate, and is also, I guess, just makes it, yeah, overall easier. So what you can do is go to plugins, go to build rig, and select a block rig. Make sure it's in R6 if you decide to animate it in R6. If you decide to animate it in R15, then use R15 rigs. So once you have your rig, what you're gonna want to do is go into your view model and grab the gun model that you're using. Just duplicate it and then drag it into workspace. Move it up to around where you want your character to be. So since you don't have a rig, what you want to do is get the part which you want to be the handle, since it's a tool, and then duplicate it. Rename this to handle. I guess we can rename this other part like base. This is just to make sure that, I guess, say we need to rotate to move the gun around, it doesn't rotate the handle, because that will make it look weird. So I guess we can make the handles transparency 1, and now we can rig everything to the handle. Make sure it's with the uppercase H. I'll rig edit light. Connect everything to the handle, and then create joints. We can also drag this gun model into our tool. Copy and paste everything that was in this old handle. Copy it. Going to delete it actually. Go into your view model. Ungroup it. And paste it into your new handle. Along with all of these, what do you call them? Parts. When you play it in the game, it might not always be set up properly. So like right now, you see right now how it makes you like move up and stuff. This is because it's not set up properly. So we need I guess it just takes some trial and error. Just keep rigging it, and yeah. Boom, now it's in the hand properly now, and I forgot to make my character R6. Shoot. Permissions, avatar, R6. Yes. Play. Boom, as you can see, the gun is in the hand properly instead of holding the old rig. It's still going to first person. You can aim down sights. The fire animation still works. Reload animation still works. You can break the glass. You can now you can shoot rigs. And as you can see, the characters die. And yeah, that's about it for today's tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and like the video. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.